All right, on this episode of Bare Knuckle Bowker, very excited to be talking to an individual who's competing at the looming BKFC Fight Night event, which goes down on October 18th. And we've got Brooke Evans knuckling up and towing the line against Marisol Ruelas. And great having Marisol back on Bare Knuckle Bowker today. How are you doing? Looks like you're getting in some good work there.
Yeah, I'm at the gym now actually.
Yeah, no, that's incredible and just super excited to have you back on the show. As I was saying, and I guess tying these appearances together, I was noticing that you had a post kind of addressing the debut and everything like that. I guess just relative to, I guess, your preconceived notions of how everything was going to go with the bare knuckle debut. Like, was there certain things that surprised you? Did things largely, play out as you kind of expected them to? Like, obviously, you would probably have preferred the victory, but I mean, you jumped up multiple weight categories, which I think is incredibly admirable. And I saw you were apparently begging your coaches to let you do it while hiding the weight class. So kind of says a certain something there. But I guess just what are the overall takeaways from that BKFC debut?
I mean, I learned a lot. I think one of them was don't lie to my coaches about weight classes and all that stuff. But I did learn a lot about myself. I think, you know, for the first time ever, I was very confident with my training and with like the work that I put in, knowing that I was going up two weight classes and she had missed weight on top of that. So I think I was not gonna back down from the fight because I knew that that's what I wanted. And even going into the fight, I was calm. I did what I had to do, but I was surprised in how much stronger she was. Um, I knew she was going to be strong, but I thought that I could just move and hit and move. But unfortunately, she did a really good job with using her range, which kind of caught me at the end. But I learned a lot, and I feel like going through that for my first one, now going back to my weight class with women my size, like I'm not going to say it's a cakewalk because every fight's going to be hard, but I think that like if I can go through that, I can go through a lot of things.
Yeah, and I thought you had some great moments earlier on in the fight, but it did kind of seem like the size discrepancy and strength dynamic that you were outlining definitely, did play a factor. And yeah, not to take anything away from your opponent in saying that, but I think there was definitely moments earlier in the fight where you can, take a lot of positives out of and everything like that. And it also seemed like you were talking about how BKFC has, really resparked your love for fighting again and talking about how you found a home. So I love that piece too.
Yeah, I think as I my career in MMA kept going through and being a mother and having other responsibilities, I kind of just was doing it just because I don't know, because I was trying to find that and I wasn't finding it. When I did Power Slap, I don't know, I just like the itch for bare knuckle just came about, and like I just really wanted to try it, and everybody was telling me that it's not like, don't do it, you're still young, and everything like that. And then finally the opportunity came, and like it is a very tough sport, and it's rough. Like I've never gotten cut the way that I got cut, clearly, but um there's just something about it that I just like, I felt free. I felt like it I don't know, like whether victory or loss, it was something that was very fun to do.
And it seems like even within that, like you talk about how the cut was more, I guess, pronounced than anything you've experienced in prior combat sports competition. But it seems like it kind of turned into like a pretty iconic photo and something that you're attaching a certain level of, I guess, even positive sentiment to, like, even, I guess, through the lens of like, hey, this is a scar ultimately, but it tells my story. Like, this is the journey that I've been on and the path I've chosen to pursue. So something to that, I think.
Yeah, that was like, even to me, I saw the picture, I was like, whoa. Like obviously it sucks. You're like looking down, there's a big scar on your forehead, the ref is behind calling it, but I don't know, like it's something that I feel like nobody can take away from me, and it's a story that I can tell, and I think it's badass.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And obviously a lot of questions with this upcoming fight for sure. But I also feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't get your thoughts on what it was like fighting at the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. I mean, such a massive event that they put on and everything like that. How did it feel kind of being at the nucleus of something like that and just, oh, I guess, totality of the experience? Yeah.
It was an amazing experience. I had never fought outdoors. And that alone is just so cool. You have a crowd of people with like motorcycles that like you just hear them like I don't know what it's called when they, rev
Yeah, like
or
revving it.
something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So it was like South Dakota is a lot like just that is it's a different kind of people than I'm used to here in Illinois. But it was just really cool. And then once it got darker and like the main event, the co-main event, like those last three fights, it was so cool to see how it was just stacked and the lights and the crowd was just it was really cool.
That's interesting. So you got a chance to kind of peep both the main and co-main event fights from like a fan kind of perspective, almost like just in the sense of being able to fully take those in.
Yeah. There was a little spot that we could have walked out and seen the fights from there. So I had a good enough time to get stitched up, cleaned up, and then walk out there and watch the last three fights, which was really cool. Like it actually gives you more of a like awe and like I just did this, but now look at these like champions that are doing this too. So it was really nice seeing that.
And speaking of champions, I saw you met King Kai Stewart, the featherweight champion, at that event. So that seemed fun as well.
Yeah, I did. We were walking out after weigh-ins, after the live weigh-ins, and I was with the bare knuckle. I think it was one of the matchmakers, um, just a lot of people, and he was just there walking around with his belt, and I was like, that no way, that is not him. And then we walked up to him, they were talking, and I was like, and I was a little bit starstruck, but I was like, can I get a picture? But yeah, he was super nice. It was really cool to see him too.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of interesting that you had that reaction because it seems like you're not necessarily a stranger to taking photos with champions of the game and stuff like that. Like I saw you had a photo with Merab Dvalishvili and, shout out to Danny Rubenstein, just managing, both of you and everything like that. And I imagine you think it's going to be and still when it comes time to Merab's next fight coming up. But do you have any thoughts on that Cory Sandhagen fight he has that's looming and as far as like what could play out with that fight? Like, does it strike you as another fight where Merab pushes that unwavering pace on Sandhagen and gets the win that way? Like, I guess, how do you foresee that upcoming fight playing out?
I think Sandhagen is a very good fighter. He surprises a lot of people, but Marab's, first of all, wrestling alone and his grappling is so good. His pressure is really good. I don't think that Sandhagen will be able to get that reach to be able to throw those like kicks or, like I feel like his stand up is his strength and Merab just and I'm not saying this because obviously it's same management and I'm a fan of him, but like I just think that Merab just is on a different level when with his grappling and his cardio. I see a finish, maybe third, fourth round. It is going to be an exciting fight. Um, his pressure is just too good, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it's been demonstrably successful for him for a while now, for sure. So, just yeah, great to see that fight coming up. Definitely seems like the next justified bantamweight title fight and everything. But I guess just briefly circling back to the fact that you got to see the main and co-main event fights in Sturgis there because I didn't necessarily know if you would have gotten the chance to do that. I feel like I'd be yeah, again, remiss if I didn't get your thoughts on that because Julian Lane emerged as the welterweight champion over Gorjan Slaveski, which was a big win, and Taylor Starling emerging victorious over Shelby Cannon on points. Like I know I'd seen some people intimating that they maybe thought Cannon should have got the nod there, but I guess just in kind of saying all of that, thoughts on those two fights from BKFC Sturgis that ended off the night.
Um, yeah, I mean, I paid attention to obviously Sterling. and the whole like fight. I, I did think that Shelby won. I did agree that it was very close. But I'm a fan of Taylor. I love her. I think she is like she's a go-getter. Her cardio is phenomenal. Shelby, I feel like did more damage and was the initiator of a lot of the back and forth. Um, I personally thought that she had won that. But then again, she has a chance to go back, get more fights, and then be a contender. I feel like Taylor has gotten to be the contender for a title many times, and if anything, if Shelby can get another win or two, she can possibly fight Brittany Hart for the shot at the title. I know Brittany Hart needs more women to step up, but that's my thought on that. Between Gogo and God, I forget his name all the time.
Julian Lane.
Julian Lane. Oh my God, that was crazy to see because it like you hear every punch and it was like Gogo would drop and then he'd get up and then they'd strike again. There was no stopping between both of them. I was like I was just there getting hit and I was like, oh yeah, whatever. But then I see them and I'm like, oh my God, that's brutal. Like it was amazing, and I see why they were the main event for Sturgis. It was just really cool to see them just like this technique was like crisp and their speed was good, their power was good. You heard every punch when it connected, and yeah.
Yeah, just an incredible night of action all around and everything. And you were kind of mentioning earlier how you're fighting in a more natural weight category this time out at
Yeah.
flyweight, and just that debut previously being at featherweight. I'd be curious to get your thoughts on this looming fight here, just with the featherweight champion fighting the flyweight champion at BKFC 82. Just thoughts on that Queen of Violence title fight between Jessica Borgia and Christine Faria at BKFC Newark.
I think that's a great fight. I think that it's going to be a very fun fight. Um, Borga, I feel like she's just so strong. I got to see her in person at the Sturgis event, and just seeing her, she's just so solid and strong. Um, I feel like I think that's going to be her advantage. I've seen almost all her fights, and she just comes at you, closes the distance, and just powers through. And I feel like her punches are going to be so strong. Um, and I do think she's going to end up winning. Just because size, she's just so strong. um, and it seems like she's the bigger person again with distance and being able to close in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a compelling fight for sure. And I very much look at your next fight as a compelling one. And I guess within that, like, what are your thoughts on what Brooke Evans brings to the table? Because it seems like they're making their bare knuckle debut after several gloved boxing fights previously and some amateur MMA action as well. So I guess based on what you've seen from them, like, what are your thoughts on just the general resume and skill set of Evans heading into this fight and Hammond coming up?
Yeah, I haven't really paid too much attention to I didn't know she did MMA, but I did know that she did some boxing fights. I saw maybe like a small clip of it. I mean, I've said it before, I do feel like the opponents that she has had were lower caliber. I know she is very dedicated. She's in really good shape. She's obviously going to be faster than uh Chiana, but I'm just gonna go based off of my experience that like yeah, if you do MMA and if you do boxing, like you have the experience, but it's so different. It's different getting hit with bare knuckles because it's not the same. It's not like when you get hit with a boxing glove, it's like your whole head wobbles, but like you power through it, you won't feel it until the next day. Rather, when you get hit with a bare knuckle, like it stings. So if you're not ready for that sting, you're gonna get shocked like real quick. So I hope I can use that to my advantage. I know that I need to move a lot more. I know that like it's going to be a very different fight for me, offense and defense. There's no way a 25er moves the same as a 45er. I know she seems like she's very dedicated and she's ready for this. She's been prepping for it before. I think it was she got signed actually before I got signed into bare knuckle because we had the same management that got us in. But again, like I'm fresh off a fight, and it's like I don't know. I just feel happy to be in my weight class, and if I can do things at 45, I know that at 25, it's a different game for me.
Yeah, and I know your coaches do a lot of the game planning and research on your opposition as well. So yeah, I'm sure there's that team top-notch game planning component that's also popping up. But I mean, the experience piece that you mentioned seems so important for bare knuckle, just from the fighters that I've interviewed over the last few years. Like, it seems like that first fight is like such a not a litmus test, but like a thing that really, I guess, gives a crystallized idea where it's like, okay, this is something that I really want to pursue long term. Like, I really have this aptitude for this and this want to pursue that, which I mean, it seems like you very much fit within that. But then there's also some people who are like, yeah, this really isn't the particular vibe for me. I'm going to go back to gloves. So to that point, the first fight in this game seems so supremely important in that sense.
Yeah, yeah, and like any fighter that has grit and is like game, they're gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna do this and all that stuff. But it's the same with like being in an MMA or a boxing fight or a grappling fight for the first time. There's things that you can do in training all day, but it's never the same as when you do it in a cage when somebody's actually trying to hurt you. Like, I think that's something that people forget. Not everybody, but do I have realized like there's people that go into the ring or the cage or whatever it is, and it's like your opponent's trying to hurt you. Like you're gonna get hit. There is no like I'm just gonna move and not get hit. You're gonna get hit, and the distance and the feeling and the combos are all different with bare knuckle than it is with boxing. Um, for example, Brittany Hart, six-time champion, she went into TCL and then went against a boxer that probably has, like what I feel like Brittany Hart would kill her in a bare knuckle fight, but she lost to the boxer because it's just really like the power is different. Like the way that you hit bare knuckle versus a boxing glove is very different.
Yeah, I've also heard that from different fighters that I've spoken to. Like I spoke to BKB champion Courtney Cameron and expressed a very similar thing, just in terms of like the glove having like a different force that's almost like dispersed throughout the area, whereas like bare knuckle is more of like a very defined hit in like the specific connection point area. So yeah, definitely a thing that for one to get used to and stuff like that. And I guess just to say not the same sensation between, glove sport versus gloveless sport, as you just mentioned.
Yeah, yeah. And like when I did boxing at 145, like I got hit and I didn't feel it in the moment. I was fine. I got up, shook it off, I'm fine. But then for the next 2 weeks, I had a concussion and I felt terrible. And then this last fight, same weight class, 45, I got hit. I believe this was the punch that I think I ended up having to take a knee for. It was right under my eye. And in that moment, it stung so bad. Like it's just a weird, like it stings so bad. And like maybe 10, 15 seconds go by and now you don't feel it. But at this point, the fight's done, and I didn't have a concussion after this fight, but in the moment, it was like you either push through it or it's over.
And that seems to even fit within, I guess, the empirical evidence that they have about bare knuckle. And as far as like there is that obvious aesthetic damage component from what we're talking about, like the stinging sensation and then the cut that materialized in the fight. But in terms of like the more, I guess, substanceful, like impactful blows, like in terms of, I guess, residual damage being caused and stuff like that to the degree that one would see in like boxing or MMA, like it seems like the, I guess, relatively safer kind of combat sport in that sense, or at least based on how the data kind of reveals it there and everything. But yeah, it's exciting to see you at a more natural weight category here and stuff like that. And it seems like the way you're kind of talking about the flyweights and maybe even to an extent the straw weights, it seems like you have a certain level of, I guess, awareness of the general scene. Like it seems like the flyweight class has some really strong contenders at the top that could provide some exciting matches for you in the future, potentially. Like obviously squarely focused on this fight, but I mean some contenders like Jad Masan Wong, Beck Rawlings, Christine Vicens, like some really talented figures in that division, it seems like.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, if that's my weight class, I'm gonna study all of the fighters. I'm gonna see how they move. I'm gonna see the differences. But I do think that I have to be like, getting ready for this particular fight. I have to be ready for it. The speed is different. The movement's going to be different. The range is going to be different. So I'm excited to just get through this fight and then go back to training for, the more experienced fighters, the strong, like the stronger in the aspect fighters.
Yeah, well said, and shows your, I guess, respect for the sport and also your own, I guess, perception of your growth pattern going forward. So yeah, definitely appreciate that. But something I was seeing when I was kind of going on your social media to prepare for this interview, I saw you had a post, I guess, a few months ago at this point where you were talking about meeting your celebrity crush, Nina Marie Danielle, who's known as Nina Drama to a lot of the UFC fans. And I saw she was kind of saying, like, oh, yeah, I mean, I'd corner Paulo Costa for his next fight because Costa, I guess, put it out there for Nina to do that. I mean, maybe we can get Nina Drama in your corner. Maybe we can kind of get that rolling as well. Maybe get a little spotlight on that kind of piece as well. Like, what do you think about the Costa situation
Oh my
there? And
God, I
yeah,
would love that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, why not? Sometimes just having somebody like that in your corner, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, no, you need somebody to tell you like move and blah blah blah, and it's like I can hear my coach, I can mute his voice from like the stands, but if I turn around and Nina is like, let's go, I'm going to be like, she's in my corner, I cannot lose. So I think it would be really cool, and she's managed by my management, so like the possibilities are there.
yeah, I mean, that would be amazing. I feel like that would definitely generate a lot of headlines and certain attention and whatnot. And I mean, I don't know. Yeah, sometimes there's something to that. Like I know Mike Perry had his wife corner him for like a UFC fight back in the day, and he ended up getting the win and everything. So I mean, yeah, a little something to it, maybe, right?
Yeah, yeah, I remember that fight too. That as she's basically 1-0 as a coach, so it's like, why not?
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely exciting times though. And I really do appreciate you making time to come on Bare Knuckle Bowker ahead of this next BKFC fight here and everything like that. And it's cool that it seems like it's fairly close to Chicago as well. Like I saw you kind of put that out there as well in a recent post talking about, how people should be getting their tickets and stuff like that, which yeah, definitely quite the live experience for sure. So I would, put it out there for people to potentially do that because yeah, great live show and everything. But I really do appreciate your time, Marisol, and figured I'd give you the floor in case you maybe had any final parting thought you wanted to add as we're wrapping up here. I really appreciate the time today.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be able to talk about my experiences and what's upcoming. I just want to thank everybody, all my new sponsors, Apollo Nutrition, HK Gear, my new management, Orozco, that's managing me for Bare Knuckle, Ruby, who's my other management for everything else, my coaches at Top Notch, just like all my teammates that have been there for me for everything, power slap, MMA, grapple, like they are always there for me. And October 7th, October 18th at the Horseshoe Casino in Hammond. It's literally like it is the closest hometown fighting that you can get right now for bare knuckles. So, for all my hometown people, just get your tickets now because the chances of it being sold out are very high. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one. I'm really excited for this Brooke Evans fight, and it looks like a great BKFC Fight Night event in Hammond there. And yeah, October 18th going to be a great event. I'm certainly excited to check out the card and specifically your fight for sure, Marisol. But again, thank you for coming on Bare Knuckle Bowker today. All the best with the remaining stretch of the preparations, and just have a good rest of your day and a nice weekend as well.
Thank you. You too.